Hi everyone, and once again, welcome to our another session of Q&A live streaming. This is your opportunity to ask me questions and let us provide you answers about Canada immigration, especially now that we are in the middle of this COVID-19 crisis. So I know that there's a lot of people who are actually asking and inquiring about our Canada immigration. Is everything still okay, or is the procedure stop? How's the Canada immigration right now? So those kind of things are the kind of questions that we would be addressing. So if you have any questions or concerns or very interested to know about Canada immigration, please feel free to put your questions or suggestions in our comment section. And definitely, I will be more than happy to assist you and provide you answers as much as I could. I also completed my Canada Immigration Practitioner's Diploma here in Canada in January 2020. So I'm also let us say hi. Shout out to everyone who's actually watching our live stream today, and both in our YouTube and in our Facebook page. So far, I have Satvir Singh. Hello there. Shout out, and for those people who are actually watching as well in our Facebook page, please put or type in your comment so I would know who's actually viewing us today. Okay, so for now, let us just wait for others to log in first. I'll just get some water. So it's going to be a long talking for me. So just give me a second, okay? Immigration programs that's happening, the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. So if you are not really familiar yet about this program, I would really suggest that you have a look and watch the video because this program is a very good program, very easy, very straightforward, and this the website of one of the communities that is participating in the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program, which is Sault Ste. Marie in Ontario, Canada. So if you are interested to immigrate in the province of Ontario, please, I would really recommend that you watch that video. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to ask. Okay. So once again, welcome to our viewers. Shout out. I also have Rahul Raghavan here. Hi, boss. How are you? I'm very well. Thank you very much. Shout out, shout out. I hope that you are all well. I also uploaded a video about Canada resume, Canada standard template resume, because in the past I have been receiving a lot of requests for me to make a video for that. So that video has been uploaded. So if you have not checked out yet, please feel free to do so. One of the advantages of knowing how to make a Canada Standard template resume is for you to get noticed by Canadian employers so that when you apply automatically, or it would be easier for you to be invited for an interview. This interview will open the opportunities for you to come and immigrate here in Canada. So please check them out, okay? So before we go through some of the questions, as I've said, guys, if you have any questions or concerns with regards to Canada immigration, please put that in our comment section. And also, I will be checking our Facebook page and our YouTube channel for any comments, any questions that have been posted in our comment sections there. We will be addressing them all one by one. Okay, and of course, I would like to wish all of you, I hope that you are all well and that you are all staying home and staying safe. Please stay safe and stay home. So when everything is back to normal, we are all here and surviving and could fulfill our dreams to immigrate here in Canada. Okay, I'm just accessing now. Okay, So also a few updates. Our Facebook group successful in Canada Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program has now 11,041 members. Congratulations and thank you very much for your usual support. Let us go through that page first and check the questions that have been posted. Okay, there you go. Okay, one of the questions that I have received here is that due to COVID-19, are the immigration programs already stopped? The answer is no. So, despite this COVID-19 pandemic outbreak going on, the Canada government is still processing permanent residence, work permits, student permits, or any immigration procedures. They are still ongoing. Yes, clueless about what is going on about the immigration here in Canada. COVID-19 has not impacted the operation. So the operation of for processing PRs, work permits, um, temporary visa, visitors visa, or whatever visa is still ongoing. Okay, so that's about it. Okay. Also, guys, I would like to know. I know you're coming from different countries. People are viewing from different parts of the world, and I also would like to know how your government is actually supporting you there when it comes to government support to COVID-19. I already have talked about the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which is a 2,000 Canadian dollars monthly support to those people who have lost their jobs because of this COVID-19. Some of us are also getting employment income, which actually allows us to, even though we're not working, we cannot work, we're still getting 55% of our salary rate, which is a very, very good help because, of course, this COVID-19 doesn't stop people from paying rents, from buying their groceries and other stuff. So that kind of things is very, very much helpful. So thank you. So we would like to know also how your government is actually assisting you, and I hope that they are doing something for you there, guys. Thank you. And hi, Sarapi Sudha. Hi, how are you? Welcome. It's nice to see you there, and greetings to Thailand. Okay, Rahul Raghavan. Boss, can you tell me about approximate fee structure for PR application? There has been an update. Okay, I'll check that article. The CIC News just put an update that they are actually increasing the fees for permanent residents. That's a very good question that you are actually asking that. Okay, just one second. I've seen the post. Okay, so starting April 30, the Canadian immigration processing fees are increasing. So, for example, these are the processing fees. I will be reading through it. For principal applicants of the economic business class, it will increase from 1,050 Canadian dollars to 1,575 Canadian dollars. For principal applicants in the economic non-business class, it will go up from 550 to 825 Canadian dollars. However, this increase will not apply to principal applicants and their families in the caregivers programs, which will remain unchanged. The fees for spouses or common law partners of all economic classes will go up as well from 550 Canadian dollars. It will become 825 Canadian dollars. And the fees for dependent children of all economic classes will go up from 150 to 225 Canadian dollars. And the right of permanent residence or ROPR will increase from 490 to 500 Canadian dollars. So, which is not that high. But of course, I just want you to make sure that you are all prepared with this increase. Okay? Hi, Rosemary, a big bo. Shout out po. Rosemary is from Nigeria. Hi. She's asking for assistance. Okay. Rosemary, for your question, please put that in our comment section, and I will do my best, of course, to provide you feedback or answer to your query. Also, I would want to shout out to Edson Ribeiro. Edson Ribeiro, hi Ray, can you help me to understand something about AIPP requirements? Okay, um, sure. Thank you very much for raising that inquiry. For AIPP or Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, I always talk about this program. This program is really, really close to my heart because this is the same program that myself and my sister used to immigrate here in Canada. And luckily, my sister has immigrated here since January 2020 under AIPP New Brunswick. And I myself immigrated here, became an immigrant in October. The response of the applicants and the employers is very much very good. So the government actually decided to prolong this program. And as they're also mentioning, they intend to make it a permanent program because it really, really helped Labrador and Prince Edward Island. So, what are the requirements? So, first, education background. It is very important, or they need at least for you to be a Canadian high school graduate. Canadian high school graduate, what if you don't study here in Canada? That is not a problem as well. Because if you study in your home countries, you can process the conversion of your educational degree to a Canadian standard through ECA or Educational Credential Assessment. So, how is this educational credential assessment? So, there are certain organizations that are recognized by the Canada Immigration who are allowed to do ECA or conversion of your local from your country's educational level to Canadian level. So, of course, some of them are WES, ICES, ICAS, IQAS, or CES. So, the process is, of course, you sign up and you log in to the organization that you chose to do the conversion or the assessment of your education. And then you pay the fees, you let the university or the college or the high school, whatever credentials you have from your country, to be sent directly by mail to the organization that you chose, and then they will assess it. So that is the ECA. It has to show that you are high school graduate equivalent. And then that is one of the requirements. As I've said, Canadian high school graduate, you must also have at least 1 year experience, job experience within the past 3 years. That job experience should be the same as the NOC or the job that you are applying here in Canada in the Atlantic province. What if you don't have a job experience? That is not a problem as long as you graduated a post secondary degree in the province of in the Atlantic province. For example, a 2 year program in Nova Scotia, in Newfoundland and Labrador, you do not need a job experience. You can automatically apply for an international graduate category. Another requirement is the language proficiency exam, wherein it is very important that in AIPP you must have a minimum of NOC I mean not NOC, sorry, language proficiency minimum of CLB4 and above. CLB4 and above. So it can be French or it can be in English, okay? And your proficiency exam should be valid should not be more than 2 years. Your ECA is valid for 5 years. And then, of course, you should have your proof of fund. And of course, you should get a job offer as well from an AIPP designated employer. So those are the basic requirements to qualify for AIPP. Okay, so I hope I answered your question there, Edson. Oh, Canada, my IELTS score is reading 5.5, speaking 7.5, writing 6, listening 6, and have done West evaluation. What are my chances and program is suitable for me? Thank you. Rosemary, your language, I hope you could make it better. 5.5 for reading is still okay, but in depending on the program, of course, I need to know as well, Rosemary, your job qualifications, I mean, your job experience, how old are you? Because there are several programs that are available there. And also, it depends on your qualifications as well. You need also to tell me what is the highest educational attainment that you got, because those kind of things are checked when you're actually looking for a program that would fit your qualification. Okay, so if you can clarify that for me, I will be more than happy to answer. Technician and CRS is 411. I'm not getting any response from Canadian employers. Very difficult to get jobs. Okay, Satvir, seeing your your CRS is 411, which is still okay. However, you need at least to have 460 and up to be invited for express entry invitation to apply. However, you do not have to lose hope because some of the provinces actually get people from the pool, from the express entry pool, and invite them for provincial nomination program. I know it is very difficult, and I would admit it is not easy to get a Canadian job offer. So there are other ways that you could actually do to in order for you to improve your CRS course. What I always say is you could also consider, at least since you already have this, why not take at least, for example, a further education here in Canada? What about 1 year certificate to increase your chances, increasing your points? Because after you study a year of education here in Canada, you would automatically get a 1 year of postgraduate work permit that would allow you to have 1 year of work experience, Canadian experience class, because that program only requires at least 1 year of continuous employment here in Canada. And of course, as I've said, you could also wait, but however, waiting is not enough. If you're really, really very much interested to come here in Canada, I would always suggest that you be vigilant and work for it. So take my take my advice, okay? Then let's move forward. Gavina Reynor Liza, hello. Hi, hello po. Hi, Sir Ray. Regarding my inquiry a few days ago about my child who was born in Hinton and 7 years old, and what will be the steps for get back to you. But thank you for coming back. Okay, so your child, if as you said, your child is Canadian citizen since she was born here in Hinton, Alberta. So I suppose she has a Canadian passport. So very easy for her to come here. And for you, you could actually apply for either a super visa or a visitor's visa for you to be able to come here in Canada. And then what you could do is to wait for a possibility program. Otherwise, you could also appeal for human and compassionate considerations, since you are looking after your daughter who is a minor, who is 7 years old. So you could do an appeal under humanitarian and compassionate humanitarian reasons. So what I mean is it's similar to a refugee. However, you are actually applying for a permanent residence in the grounds of humanitarian and compassionate reason, because obviously your child is a Canadian, and the Canadian child has to have an adult guardian to live with her here in Canada. So that's something that you could do. You come here, you apply for a visitor's visa, or you come with a super visa, so you could look after your daughter, and at the same time, you could process a permanent residence application through a humanitarian and compassionate ground. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's go through other questions. Oh, we've got lots of questions today, which I like. Thank you very much. And shout out to everyone who are still viewing us. Okay. Hello to Abubakar Musa. Abubakar Musa, how can we contact you so you can help process our documents? Okay, Abubakar, thank you for your message, but I just want to let you know, and I keep on saying this, I am not a licensed immigration consultant yet. So I do not process applications because that is against the law. So what I'm doing right now, I just graduated and completed my immigration that will happen on June. Once I become an immigration consultant, then I can start processing and helping you with your application. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm just providing information and of course try to help you, give you answers on your questions. But as soon as I get my license, definitely I will be very, very more than happy and very interested to help you all. Because as I've said, the reason why I actually studied and wanted to become an immigration consultant is because I was once like you who was very much interested and came to immigrate here in Canada. And I know how difficult and how frustrating it is to go to an application which when you do not actually have the 100% answers to your questions. But as I've said, I will keep you posted and thank you very much, Abu Bakar. Okay, so let's move on to the questions. Rosemary a big Bo from our Facebook page. I'm 37 and I have BSc accounting. I have worked for over 3 years. Okay, so thank you very much for providing this. Rosemary a big Bo, 37 years old, 3 years experience, BS accounting with your languages. I would not, of course, obviously, express entry will not be your program because 37 for an express entry is already an age that is not will not get much of scores. I would still recommend you to process because there are some programs who actually, for example, provincial nomination programs, there are different programs who actually look into the pool. And for those people who are actually, for example, different provinces have their in-demand jobs. So depending on the province that needs accountants, they still look into the job, into the pool, into the express entry pool. So I would still recommend you to make your profile, and also there are other provincial nomination programs that does not need a job offer. For example, I would say this, for example, it's a New Brunswick provincial nomination program. What they do is they provide information sessions to people who might be um, possible to immigrate to the province of New Brunswick. So they provide information sessions. When you have the opportunity, please attend that because even though you do not have a job offer from time to time, at least every year, they do have openings and they post the jobs that they actually have or the industries that are actually in demand in the province of New Brunswick. And even though you do not have a job offer, you can still apply for permanent residence. You can send your express of interest. So I would still recommend. However, Rosemary, if you really, really wanted to, with your age and with your qualifications, you can still look for an AIPP designated employer so you could process for AIPP. You could also do rural and northern immigration pilot program because these programs does not have age restrictions. So for you to check the job postings in the communities from time to time and see maybe one day there's going to be an accounting job available in that community so you could apply directly. Okay, so thank you very much for that question. Okay, Edson, according to AIPP requirements, the job offer do not need to be the same position but in the same NOC. For instance, I'm a professional in sales field NOCC. If I'm offered a job in NOCC but as material handler position, I mean if I get a job offer in the same NOCC but in other position it will work for me. No, it will not work for you, Edson. Just to clarify this, because one of the requirements to apply or the job that is related to your job that you're applying in Canada, like for me, for example, when I applied here in Canada, my job was a restaurant manager, which is an NOC zero. But when I applied, I was offered a job under NOCB, which is a food supervisor. But still, it's the same field. It's food service. My position before was a restaurant manager, but I was hired as a food service supervisor. So it's the same field, it's the same job, but different NOC level. So you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be both NOC, but the job description has to be the same with the job that you are applying for. Because obviously, they will not hire you if you do not have the experience. Why would they hire you? Okay, because there are other people who also are applying. So you know what I mean? So it's very important that when you're applying for AIP job, you must have at least 1 year of job experience related to the job that you are applying for. Okay, thank you very much. Gavina, salamat. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you very much as well, Gavina. More Asuncion for express entry. Is it possible to work and live in Canada via DIY? More Asuncion, yes. To be honest, all the programs, you can do it. Okay, so immigration consultants are there to help and assist you when you are actually facing challenges with your applications, when you need to appeal your application, those kind of things. But obviously, you can survive without immigration consultants. You can process your applications and do it yourself. For me, for example, I keep on mentioning this. At first, I had an immigration consultant which helped me actually found a job. However, when I was already processing the application, I was doing it myself. Decided to do it myself instead of my agent helping me, okay? Okay, so Rita Abiera. Hi Ray, not sure what the topic are you discussing. I just joined. Okay, so Rita, I'm actually talking about different programs. This is a question and answer about Canada immigration. So if you have concerns about Canada immigration, please feel free to throw it in our comment section, and I would try my best to provide you answer. If not, I will look for it in our resources. However, the question is, do you think this idea to apply now, or will there be any employers that are still hiring given the COVID situation? Which is a very good question, Rita Biera. Right now, what I keep on telling people, if you are looking for a job offer here in Canada, the answer, zero. Zero chance. There are no employers currently hiring. Even myself, I'm having difficulty looking for a job here in Canada right now, considering that I'm a Canadian permanent resident. Why is that so? Because of the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, a lot of businesses were closing. A lot of businesses had no choice but to close down, shut off, and a lot of employees, Canadian citizens, Canadian permanent residents, and even Canadian work permit holders have been laid off, removed, redundant from their jobs. So, for example, myself, I am having, I was laid off from my job on third week of March because the hotel that I was working had to close down. So I was temporarily laid off, meaning I'm not working, I am unemployed. And similar, same to me, there are millions or thousands of people here in Canada who do not have jobs. And if there will be available jobs, obviously, employers or the Canadian government will require the Canadian employers to hire Canadian citizens or permanent residents first who are already here in Canada. And even myself, considering that I'm already getting financial support from the government, I'm still trying to look for a job online, but still I could not get a job. So imagine that. So, however, as I keep on saying, this is temporary. Obviously, when things get better, there will be a lot of opportunities. And from CIC News, 2020 after this COVID-19, there would be a potential increase on the demand of hiring immigrants from overseas because obviously Canada would want to recover as soon as possible. So there would be a need for a lot of people to come here in Canada and to contribute to economic growth of the country. So what I keep on recommending to people right now is do not lose hope. Take this moment preparing your resume. That's why I made a video about how you would format your resume to a Canadian standard format. Improve your language skills so that when you take the IELTS or the French exam, you would get a better score. Try start processing for your ECA because these are the major requirements that you would be needing to immigrate here in Canada. And of course, still work on achieving your proof of funds because these requirements are very, very important. Even though you get the job, without these things, you will not be processed. So it's very important that you start working on it. Okay. Thank you very much for that beautiful question, Rita. Um, Eric Castigador from our Facebook page. Hi, sir. In my case, I just received my refusal letter from RCCI last March 25. What's the best option for me to stay here in Canada? Right now, my agency doesn't have any employer to hire me because of the COVID-19. Okay, so Eric Castigador, refusal letter. Is that an application for extension of a temporary work permit or what? Because as we keep on saying, if it's a temporary work permit and you are actually requesting for, for example, an online application to extend or to renew your work permit or to renew your visitor's visa, for example, you can stay here in Canada even though your visa expires until you get the the result, the approval of the application. So if you're talking about a work permit or a visitor's visa, if the IRCC already made you a refusal letter, told you that your application has been refused, then I would suggest, and this is the best thing to do for you to leave Canada as soon as possible because obviously refusal means there is already a decision. But if it's still um, an application waiting for approval, then you can still stay. Okay, I hope you can still clarify that for me. Okay, so let's move on. Also, is AIPP permanent already, Rita Abiera? There is no news yet that it is permanent. However, there are actually suggestions to make that permanent. Was announced, it is one of the topics that have been raised. And considering that there are a lot of new programs, in terms of coming here and becoming a permanent resident in Canada, then definitely that is a good program that I can see that they would actually make it permanent. Okay. Budi Prasad, hi, hello, how are you there? Ray Tabiera again. Ray, I know you've been studying about immigration policies. What's your advice on the scenario? Been refused 3 times for student permit. I applied through SDS could. However, you need also to know why your application is being refused. Because obviously, if you are refused and then if you reapply and you're just resubmitting the same documents that you are actually submitted in the past, then what is the chance that you will be approved? Okay, you need to make sure, you need to understand what are the reasons, because obviously they provide reasons of your refusal, right? And you need to address that. So when you reapply, the immigration officer that is actually taking care of your application will see, for example, if they're thinking, oh, this person will not leave and after for example, after the program. So you need to show a proof of your strong ties to the home country, so that, you know what I mean? So you would actually show that you do not intend to overstay here in Canada, but instead, once your visa finishes, you would always go home and go back because you have these kind of things waiting for you to when you come back from Canada. So those kind of things, make sure, yes, you can still reapply. However, work on making sure that you can convince the immigration officer that you are worth the visa that they are actually providing. Okay. And hi, Joy Torres. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Shout out. Okay. Designated employer, and at point do I apply to a province, and how do I get a job? Okay, Rosemary, the first way is for you to apply for a job. If you're looking for an employer, you as I've said, think first. What kind of program do you want to apply? Do you want to apply on AIPP, or do you want to be considered in rural and northern immigration pilot program? In both cases, you need to get a job offer. For AIPP, you need to focus on getting a job in one of the Atlantic provinces. In RNIP, you need to get a job offer and see what kind of job offers or job openings they have. You can always look at indeed.ca or in the community website. So you will see what are the job openings. And if you'll see that there's an accounting related job opening, apply. Send as many resumes as you could to as many employers as you could, so you get more chances of getting a response. Okay. Hi, Rupesh Desai. How are you there? Rakesh. Hi, hello. Rakesh D, can you leave job after PR under AIPP? Yes, you can leave job. Any programs, actually, you can leave job. Okay. Once you become a permanent resident of Canada, you become you actually gets the right called mobilization rights, right? Mobility rights, wherein a permanent resident and a Canadian citizen can work and can live in any province that they actually want. However, different programs have different restrictions. You need also to think of the programs. For example, if the job, you can leave the job. The question, the province, can you leave the province? Technically speaking, yes, you can once you're a permanent resident. However, you also need to think to consider the program that you actually were processed for permanent residents, because, for example, the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program specifically says that the applicant should have the intention, the genuine intention to stay in that community. So that means even though you're a permanent resident, you cannot leave your job and you cannot go elsewhere. I mean, you can leave your job, but you cannot go elsewhere for some time. Okay. March Manzano, hi Ray, 2 thumbs up. There you go. Okay, moving on. More Asuncion from our Facebook page. Show money for express entry. It is okay to be shouldered by employer, not mine. Definitely no. Proof of fund is always the applicant's money. It cannot be from anyone. It cannot be your employer's job. It cannot be your employer's money, and it cannot be your relative's money. Okay. I don't have more cash, then that's a problem. That's why if you're very much interested to immigrate here in Canada, you need to make sure that you are actually starting to save. Okay. Eric Castigador, yes, sir. Extension work permit, sir. So if it's an extension for work permit and if it has been refused already, then that means that you can no longer stay here in Canada. Then you have to leave, and then you ask the employer once you're in the, for example, once you go back to the Philippines or which country you are in, then reapply. If there is an LMIA, you have to go through the process. However, if the IRCC already tells you that your application has been refused, you have to leave. Because if you don't leave and you overstay, it will have an impact on your profile here in Canada. Obviously, if you overstay, um, they would have to deport you sooner or later. And then once it happens, and when you reapply, then that's something that would affect your application. So the best thing to do is go back and leave Canada. Okay. And then some more questions here. Let's go to Budi Praset. Hi, Ray. I have experience from front office 3 years in Carnival Cruise Line, 6 years as front office manager, 9 years as tour leader. Which pathway to immigrate to Canada? Okay, I don't know your age, but with your experience, you could actually try express entry. You could also try provincial nomination program. You could also try. There's a lot because of your experience. You are a federally skilled person. You can also try AIPP, RNIP, depending on the job. If there is availability for jobs in those areas, but yes, and at the moment, as I keep on saying, if you, because from what I can see, try first the express entry. However, for express entry, your other qualifications such as your education, your age, your language proficiency will also be considered. It's a point system, okay? However, other programs are job driven, employer driven programs. That means you need a job offer, but with your rich experience, I would really 100% sure that one day you would get a job offer from a Canadian employer. Okay. Edson Rivera, Ray, is contact center considered as sales? I mean, NOC 6221. I do not believe so because there is a different NOC for sales, different NOC for customer service representative, if that's what you are actually trying to say. They are actually different NOCs. Okay, more Asuncion, how much proof of fund for express entry? Okay, I will check for you. Express entry. Okay, however, just to let you know more, Asuncion, I just opened the website canada.ca, updated February 25, 2020. It says that who do who does not need proof of funds. So you do not need proof of funds if you don't need to show that you have enough money to support yourself and your family if you're applying under the Canadian Experience class or you're authorized to work in Canada and trades program. So that means if you are already in Canada on a work permit and you will apply for permanent residence under express entry with a valid job offer, you do not have to show a proof of fund. However, if you have to, for one applicant, you need to show a minimum of 12,960 Canadian dollars. Once again, for a family member of one, you need to show 12,960 Canadian dollars. And of course, it goes higher as many members of the family being included in the application. Okay, thank you very much. I hope I have answered your question over there. I have to read to drink water. Just give me a second. Okay, Rita, thanks, Ray, for answering all my questions. Been following you since day one. That your friend featured you in YouTube. Oh wow, that's 2 years ago. I am with E Square now because of your story. Keep safe always. Thank you very much. Thanks, Rita. I appreciate that, and be safe as well. Okay. Sandra Diwa Flores, hi, hello. Hi, sir. How much po proof of fund nyo for AIPP and PR na po ba kayo nung umalis dito? Okay, what Sandra was asking is, how much was my proof of fund when I actually came here in Canada, and was I permanent resident when I came here in Canada? That's a very good question. Okay, Sandra, I don't remember how much my proof of fund, but I think it was 3,075 Canadian dollars or a bit higher. Because the proof of funds in AIPP already has changed several times since I applied in 2018. Okay, so it has been changing a lot. But I think mine was only, I think, 100 or 200 Canadian dollars higher from the minimum requirement. And then you were asking if I was a permanent resident when I came here in Canada. No, I was not. Um, I actually have a work permit. So what happened, because it has to be sent in Canada, but it was sent the same day. 7 weeks after I got the approval of my work permit, so that was third week of March. And then I was still working in a hotel in Papua New Guinea. I know that, obviously, I know my job offer. I know how much I will be earning. For everyone's information, my contract says that I would be earning $12, 12 Canadian dollars per hour here in Canada under a work permit because my permanent residence was not yet approved that time. I had to delay coming here in Canada. As I've said, by March, I already got my work permit, but I decided to move to Canada in August. So I moved in August. So I waited for a few more months, stayed there, saved more money. And in August 2018, I came here in Canada, but still I had a work permit and my permanent resident was approved. So last in third week of September, and then I had to exit from Canada and I became a permanent resident in October 18, 2018. So that's this October 8th, I think. So that is the story of myself. So that in saying that, I did not have a permanent permit where you are not allowed to do part time or to get double job or extra jobs is difficult. That's why I had to delay coming here in Canada, and I was happy because after a month or more than almost a month and a half, I became a permanent resident, and that actually allowed me to get another job because obviously, with the finances and expenses, you cannot rely only with one job. Okay, thank you very much for that. Eugene Ruha, hello, good morning once again. Morning, Sir Ray and listeners. Just an update on processing ECA through WES. Those that have sent documents in already can expect an expected increase from the current 35 working days to 61 working days. Okay, thank you very much, Eugene, for that update. So, Eugene, as just mentioned, if you are applying for an ECA through WES, there are some delays, obviously, because of COVID-19 from 35 working days. Now it became 61 working days. So please bear with the process. And it is always advisable to start working on your processes to avoid delays. Okay. Thank you very much, Rita Bear, Biera. At Edson Ribiero 6551 CSSR. Okay, so that's a very good reply from Rita to Edson. So customer service representative is NOC 6551, different from sales, which is NOC 6221. And Eugene Ru is listening from Pretoria, South Africa. Hi there. Hello, hello. Some more questions. More Asuncion after IELTS and ECA. What is next for EE? Okay, once for EE, if you're applying for EE, Express Entry is creating a profile wherein you have to upload your IELTS, you have to upload your ECA. It will ask for the serial numbers or the registration numbers of your IELTS and your ECA. And once you have done it, after you actually created your profile, you would know your actual CRS or calculated um, R score. So CRS or the score, depending on your qualification, automatically you would know. And obviously, if you would meet the cut or the score cut that gets the invitation to apply to become an immigrant in Canada, then you will get an immigration invitation. However, it's also a good thing for you to know because at least you know what's your score and you would think of ways how you could actually increase your points. For example, when I first came in on my Express Entry, when I first created my Express Entry profile, my CRS score was 394. Offer for me to get an additional 50 points, so I would get 444. And I was looking for that until one day I think I spoke with one of an immigration agent, which actually told me that if I could actually retake my IELTS and increase from CLB 8 to CLB 9, because my listening was at 7 and I was aiming for an 8. When I retook the exam, I am listening 7.5, still zero point 0.5 short. So I was thinking of retaking it once again. However, I saw a job opportunity to become a restaurant manager. Score, you would always know what are the areas or things that you could improve in order to get a better score and a better chance to be invited for a permanent residence in Canada. Okay. So Sandra Diwa Flores, thank you so much, sir, and thank you very much to you all guys. I appreciate you tuning in, even though it's a last minute announcement that I scheduled a live streaming. My next live streaming will be on, of course, here in Canada. This is gonna be on Friday, and of course, if you are elsewhere, if you are in the Philippines or in the Middle East or in South Africa, that's gonna be Saturday. So next Saturday, I will be having another live streaming session with you guys. And if you still have questions, please, I would really appreciate put that in our comment section down below. And I still have some time. I will be more than happy to address your questions. And as I keep on saying this, guys, if you have friends or relatives that are very much interested to know or to learn about Canada immigration, I would still always recommend that you send them to our YouTube channel. And I've got lots of videos created there about different programs, about AIPP, about RNIP, about other programs that you could use to immigrate in Canada, English, and I'm also starting to do Tagalog videos as well for my fellow kababayans there to have a better understanding of what format. I also discuss what's an ECA or what's an educational credential assessment. So those kind of things, I'm creating a video so you would have complete resources of the things that you would be needing when you are actually working on immigrating here in Canada. Subash Raham Mixnan, boss, if IELTS more, shall we get more score? Okay, Subash, depending on the program, if you are actually applying for AIPP, for RNIP, or provincial nomination programs, you only need to meet the minimum language requirement, which is CLB4. You are more than okay. Depends. Some of the employers actually require people to at least meet CLB5. So if you have CLB 4, you can retake to do a CLB 5. For IELTS in Express Entry, for example, which is a point system, of course, getting the highest score is the best because your points depends on the IELTS score that you get. The higher your IELTS score, the higher the points that you will get, the better chance of getting an invitation to apply for a Canada immigration that you will have. Okay, I hope that I have clarified that to you all, guys. And if you have any more questions, my line, my Facebook page, Canadian Immigration Updates Forum by Ray is always open. You can also join our Facebook groups such as Successful in Canada, Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. I also created Canada Immigration Updates Group, and I also created Pinoy Immigration to Canada. So those groups, please, I would very much recommend that you actually join and follow, and of course, our Facebook, our YouTube channel, Ray Magtarayo, and always please feel free to ask questions over there, and I will be more than happy to provide and address your questions. Okay. More Asuncion, if someday I'm planning to be an immigration consultant like you, how many years and cost? Okay, that's a very good question. One of the requirements to become an immigration consultant is you have to be a Canadian citizen, and you have to be either Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. You have to have an IELTS exam, and that has to be the highest IELTS exam where you get 8 in listening, 7 I think 8 which could actually an average of 1 year if you're working, and you can actually um, and then you have to do an immigration test. So the studies, for example, for me, I spent 10,000 Canadian dollars for the program, and then I have to pay for my licensure exam again. I think that's more or less 500 to 600 Canadian dollars. And then I would again provide police clearance from all the countries that I lived from 18 years old up, even though I already submitted it when I applied for permanent residence. So I have to do it again. And yeah, so that's it. And once I actually pass the licensure exam, I would need to work on becoming a member as well. So I need to meet the requirements. So there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to become an immigration consultant. Okay. Continue on Saturday. And thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate that. And please, I always say, and please share my videos. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys. Be safe and always think of your your dreams to immigrate here in Canada, because one day you will actually fulfill it and all your dreams will come true. Thank you and have a good day. Bye bye, guys. Thank you.